Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this special episode, we have our special guest, Mara Shorr. Mara is the host of Short Solutions podcast. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Mara Shorr.
Thank
Mara,
you.
welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here today. I have my cup of coffee with me, and I am excited for us to speak.
Yeah, so I have a bottle of water. I drink multiple in one day. Okay, so
Good, good. I have that here as well. So we are ready to get started. We're well hydrated people, well hydrated professionals.
yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. Mara, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with your Short Solutions podcast?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Shore Solutions, the podcast, is a spin-off Shore Solutions, our consulting company. And we work with medical practices across the United States really to assist in their operational, financial, administrative, basically the business side of medicine. And I will tell you, the one human being that had inspired me is none other than my business partner and the company's founder, Jay Shorr, who is my father. We are a proud father-daughter team. So if you were to say who is the one single human that inspired me to get started in this industry, it's my dad. It is not like unstoppably nothing else, hands down, it is my dad. And we have a really interesting story and our background. I always encourage listeners go to our podcast about how we got started as a business, because it was kind of tragedy. Really it stems from tragedy and some family loss, but we came together and were able to really grow our business from a tiny little side hustle to a national award-winning consulting company. We have a team now, which I'll talk about in some of the other questions, because I know you gave me some spoiler alerts as far as the questions that are coming, which I love. So, but yeah, we work with practices across the country, mostly in the cosmetic aesthetic industry. But I love it. The short answer: inspired by and learned so much from my dad. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it very much. So I cannot resist myself then asking a question. How your dad and daughter get along while in a business and at home? It's like, what?
That's It's a great question. So I would say overall, it's fantastic. I always tell people it's the smartest business decision I have ever made. I continue to learn so much, and having a business partner that is also a mentor and has your 100% best interest at heart. I don't have to worry about, is my business partner stealing from me? Does my business partner want the best for me? I know that is hands down. I know that answer is a big yes. So do we agree on everything? Of course not. No two human beings agree on everything. It's learning. We learned a long time ago, because we've been doing this together for almost 10 years. We learned that you need to know how to disagree, in order to keep it healthy. And so there's never name calling or shouting or screaming or profanity. The one thing that he taught me that really solves almost any disagreement is facts versus opinions. So all major business decisions are based on what are the facts of each side, not what are our opinions. And so as long as we keep it, we also live about 3.5 hours apart. I'm in Central Florida here in Orlando, and he's down close to Fort Lauderdale. So I
Oh,
would be
okay.
lying if I said that didn't help a little bit.
That's that's
But it
that's
works
like
beautifully.
that's a little secret too.
It is. If you don't have to be in each other's spaces 10 hours a day every single day, that's probably helpful to have some space. But we're alike. We're very, very alike, but we're also different. And so we have within our company the female zennial perspective in me, and you have a male baby boomer perspective in Jay. So we keep things very business-like during business, and then we're very close in the family realm during family time. So yes.
Oh, wonderful. That's good. I may ask one more follow-up to this one. Millennials and baby boomers communicating and integrating their thoughts together. Is that
There's
a
a lot
challenge?
There's a lot that goes into it. It's funny because whether you know this or not, that's our next podcast episode for Shore Solutions, the podcast, is millennials and baby boomers working together in the same practice. So I encourage people to listen to Shore Solutions, the podcast, because it's a whole talk on that. But it's not easy because you have generations that were raised very differently in their personal lives. They're two generations that they value different things as far as work versus play, company loyalty versus maybe skipping around more. And, I think there's just inherently different. They were treated differently in the workforce by the workforce. So there's a lot that goes into that. But overall, we certainly have made it work, and internally. So our clients who are, our clients are doctors and medical professionals, and they range anywhere from around my age, maybe at this point slightly younger, to Jay's age. And so we have everybody from the entrance to, into their first business to exit strategy, and everywhere in between. But I would say it's knowing how to communicate. It's knowing that they just don't look at two generations don't look at things the same way. And that's how it's going to be. But it's not the first time two generations have worked together. So it's just knowing how to do it.
Understood. So great. So you have been working with your, I would say, dad at Shore Solutions for almost 10 years, and I'm sure you learned a lot. And working with the clients, you learned a lot. So we are going to steal maximum in 15 minutes from you as much as possible. Of course, with your permission. It's not that steal.
I will give it to you happily. Absolutely.
Okay. So what are the top 3 missteps to avoid when you're growing your business? Because you started from a side hustle to like a national award-winning company.
We do. So I'm going to share with you some of them are mistakes that we made within Shore Solutions that I want people to learn from. And some of them are mistakes that we see our clients make when our clients open up a brand new office. So number one, it is not having systems in place, because when you are one person or even 2 people, you're not going to need the same systems in place as when you are 4 people, 5 people, versus when you're 10 people or 20 people or 100 people. You need to make sure that you have systems in place. How do you log new clients? Or in our industry, it's patients, but how do you log new clients? How do you follow up with them? Who's going to do what? How do you divide and conquer tasks? Where are things saved? Is that if everything is housed in your email system, for example, when you hire additional people, it doesn't translate well, right? So it needs to be centrally located. So that's one. Number 2, I would definitely say, is when I see people that are too quick to hire. Luckily, I would say we haven't had this issue before. We have at Shore Solutions an amazing team. And if you think of your employees and your staff, not as employees or staff, but if you think of them as your team and think of them as your family, who do you want on your team and who do you want as part of your family? Because you get to choose. And so it's hiring the right people for the right positions. Don't just hire too quickly just so you'll have a warm body. I would say that the last thing, since you asked for 3, right? So I'll keep it at 3, is to not be crystal clear on what you do, what your business is, and who your target audience is. So I can tell you in 2 or 3 sentences who we are, what we do, how we help medical practices, who we work with, etc. So you want to make sure that if you say, oh, well, I'm a small business consultant, for instance, well, what sort of small businesses? What do you consult on? Who do you help? Where are they located? How are you going to do that? Who needs you? So it leaves too much there. So I would say those are my top 3 tips when it comes to the mistakes that we want to avoid.
Yeah, wonderful. This is great. You're not as good as you think, Mara. You are better, so you are sharing a lot deep knowledge about running. I can tell you have the real hands-on experience of doing it because you have been facing clients. So
all day, every day. That's what we do.
Yeah, wonderful. Just curious if you like to share how many clients you have all over. Just a high-level number. I don't need an exact number.
Sure.
Medical practices all over
Sure.
US.
So we intentionally keep our clients, we keep that number very boutique. So we keep it within a few dozen so that we're able to have that hands-on contact with our clients. We like our clients to know, and we like to be available by text. Our cell phone numbers are on our business cards, right? We want them to be able to text us. They're in our e-signatures. So you don't have to go through a main line to get to Jay, to get to me, to get to our team members. So we like to stay, we answer our own emails. We don't have assistants answering our emails. We want to make sure that if you need us, you can get to us like that.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is great. So, so that's one of your success secrets. You want to keep it small, build a relationship. They get to know each other very well, and you can have a great bonding with your clients too. It's not only just another number for you. So, what are your top three success secrets for your business then?
So I would say that would be one of them. And so making sure that you are able to really have a grasp on who your customer base is. Excuse me. I would say that the another one would be that you want to make sure you are over you want to make sure you under promise and over deliver,
Mhm.
because we've seen so many companies and worked with so many companies where it's the exact opposite, and it leads to a bad reputation in your industry. It'll lead people talk, right? People absolutely talk. And so you want to make sure that they're saying great things about you when you're not in the room, not that they're saying negative things about you when you're not in the room. So that, I would say, that is definitely number two. Number three is making sure you have a strong presence in your industry and knowing who you are and coming across you want to be genuine about this. So you can't fake your knowledge, and you want to make sure you really know your stuff, but you want to make sure you have a great presence. I see companies that don't have a strong website. I see companies that aren't on social media. I see companies that don't feel the need to have a community presence. So you want to make sure you are known in your community, but be clear on what you're being known for and be available.
Yeah, no, this is be available. That's a key secret too. So,
Mhm.
especially in these interest challenging times, because many service providers are not able to be available when they need it, because especially in the doctor's
Exactly.
office, that's a key part because
And if
it's
and
affecting someone.
if I could add one more,
Yeah.
is to run your decisions and run your business by the numbers. So instead of just saying, "Oh, I think I want to add this service," look at what the demand is. Look at what your clientele is asking
Mhm.
for. Make sure you have a grasp on your P&L, your profit and loss statements, right? Run your business by the numbers, and that's how you want to make your decisions.
Yeah, definitely got it. So, who is your ideal guest for your podcast?
For our podcast, also we love a couple different types of guests. Number one, we love practices that come with a success story. And so if you have a success story you want to share, or knowledge you want to share, I would love to be in touch with you. We also are in the process of transforming our podcast. And so Jay and I are going to be co-hosts. So if people have specific questions that they want answered, burning questions that you want Jay and I to answer during the course of that, I would love to hear from you.
Mhm.
So, and we can certainly have you a guest on our podcast, and give you some free tips and advice that way too. So,
Wonderful. Yeah,
yes.
that will be almost like becoming being on a hot seat. So, yeah, cool. So the website is shorrolutions.com, shorrsolutions.com.
Mhm.
I did check the website. It looks great. You said you have a good presence. Yeah, that's a given. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As I ask this question to every guest who shows up, because I want to make sure how we are doing, because it's like a feedback loop. And here's the question I ask: what would you say to your best friend about a growth hacking secret show when I'm not there?
I would say that it's what I love about it is that it does. Oh, look, he disappeared like he's really not here. I would say that it's almost like you at this point are providing bite size pieces of knowledge from industry experts. And that is so incredibly helpful because everybody needs additional knowledge, and we don't necessarily have the time for 3 hours to listen to things at any given moment. So to provide really great bite-sized pieces is always incredibly helpful, and from people that have been there, done that.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it very much. How the growth hacking show community can support you?
I would love for you to subscribe to our podcast. So we are Shore Solutions, the podcast, right? We talk, I talk about having a brand, and there we go. So Shore Solutions, the podcast. You can also go to shoresolutions.com and look for our social channels there. I encourage you to follow us on social media at Shore Solutions on Instagram, on Facebook. If you go to our website, you're able to subscribe to our e-newsletter, and you'll get all sorts of free tips and tricks and updates that you can use in your business. So I encourage you to follow us. And if you listen to our podcast, I'd love for you to subscribe and leave a review. And we're available wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mara, we are about to wrap up. What would you say as a final word?
Thank you so much for having me today. It was an absolute honor. I'm thrilled we were able to connect on LinkedIn. And I know that in today's crazy, crazy world, one of the great things is that we're still able to connect remotely. So I'm so incredibly appreciative. And I really encourage people to continue to listening to you and just continue to listen and learn.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mara Shorr, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. All good wishes.